What's going on, guys? I just have to quickly, oh, doesn't that just sound good? I hope that was as crispy for you as it was for me. Yeah, just one second. Ah, that carbonation. You gotta hand it to Bubbly, man. They make good water, which is hard to do considering water's been around since, you know, kind of the beginning of time. I'm here today to talk to you guys about a really fun topic. I'm here to talk to you today about a camera that probably you didn't see coming from me. The truth about me is that I'm kind of a split personality in terms of a photographer. There's the one, side of me over here who's logical and professional and, has the R5 and the R and puts those to good use and, buys big ass glass like this, the 50mm 1.2, which I, by the way, absolutely enjoy. And if you have to pick one focal length to stick at, apparently mine's 50 and 24. But I also have the other side of me, the side of me that is kind of the future Leica photographer and, the street photographer and the fine art side of me and the absolute just like bonkers creative angles side of me. And that is now going to be fulfilled by a totally different role. That will now be taken over by the Fujifilm X100V. And you might be saying, Alex, you bought a crop sensor camera after buying and owning an R5 for the better part of a year. To that I say yes, absolutely 100% I did. Excuse me. And to top that, I threw a, let's see here, a Leica M10P strap on it. And yes, I threw a Leica strap on a Fujifilm camera, and that's because A, it's black, it's leather, and it's beautiful, and it's very comfortable. Shame me all you want, I am very happy with my decision. It was $30, and there ain't no looking back after that one. Do I wish I had like a tan version? Yeah, I had a shot at a QP one, and I may still grab that one, but for now, this one makes me happy, so this is what we're going with. But yeah, this camera took me completely by surprise. I've been working about 60 hours a week, so my time to be creative is limited to about the 48 hours of the weekend, if none of that time is taken up with other things like professional client gigs or, time with the wife, which is very important. And usually sometimes, most of the time she'll let me mix in something like, photography into it because she knows that makes me happy. And typically whenever we're doing that, it makes her pretty happy as well. I happen to marry a pretty awesome person, so works out. But yeah, I picked one of these up because I needed, if you guys remember this a long time ago, I was asking on my Instagram stories, should I get a truck camera? Should I get, the camera that I can take everywhere with me and be kind of like the dad photographer, the slung around my neck photographer? And the answer to that question is yes, 100%. I definitely needed that. I was tired of being places and not having amazing photos. I feel like I constantly would get somewhere and be like, if only I had brought my R5, if only I had brought the film camera, or even heck, even the R with a 50mm lens on it, or 35 something, just anything to have a moment, something better than an iPhone. And I found something better than an iPhone, guys, way better, in fact. I toyed around with the Leica M8, Leica M9, and Fujifilm X100V. And most of you are saying, Alex, the first two of those cost upwards of $2,000 to $3,000, depending on which one you get. And the answer to that is yes. And why would I pay that amount? Because Leica costs that amount, and I have a guy, so I wouldn't be paying that, but that's little here nor there. I ended up finding a way to get into an X100V for $700. And to me, that was way more valuable to both me and my wife in terms of money-wise, to give Alex the toy to play with that he needed to, help with the, the dopamine and the serotonin that he needed to kind of combat the 60 hours a week from home. And so I picked this up and I didn't think much of it at first. I was kind of, it's cool. Like, it'll never survive in low light. It's not gonna be everything and anything I need it to be. And then I took it out and did a bunch of different stuff with it, and oh my Lord, this camera blew my socks off. And I don't mean literally, I'm not wearing socks, so that's not possible, in case you guys needed to know that. But this little camera has a 26 megapixel, all the different specs, X-Trans sensor, it's the Mark IV, or the version 4 X-Trans sensor. And that to me kind of sold me on it, because I don't like crop sensor. I've preached that as long as I've been a photographer. Crop sensor is great for certain things like wildlife. If you need a little bit, that 1.6 times crop, helps you. Great, that's awesome. I'm glad that you can get that extra reach. If not, there are old, DSLRs that have 1.3 times APS-C or APS-H crop sensors, and those things are great too. But I ended up investing in a crop sensor camera, took it out, shot it in basically pitch black, and the colors held together. The ISO didn't hurt it. I shot it about 2500 ISO, and all of you who are Fuji photographers who are on this sensor or even past sensors probably are laughing at me right now going, oh, I bet it performed too, didn't it? Yes, it did. And in fact, I will throw the pictures up right here, in this little tiny fake box in front of my face. But I was impressed. I'm just gonna kind of talk through some of these pictures because at the end of the day, I didn't expect this camera to perform like that, and once I saw that it could, I basically immediately kitted it out. I'm gonna end up getting a thumb grip on the back here to kind of give it that, a little bit of extra large hand feel, because it is a smaller camera, which I am fine with. I am fine with tucking my 2 bottom fingers, there. But I did throw a square hood on it, kind of that Leica Q style square hood, which I'm obsessed with 2 different cameras, which is kind of weird in my life. I have the Leica Q, and that's mostly due to Evan Ramp. Thanks for that, buddy. I appreciate that. I love the way that thing looks, and the outcome on all those photos are always great. It's actually why I got the WCL for this thing, which will give it more of an M10 look after, a bit, but it'll give me that 28mm focal length, which I love so much and have on my film camera. But yeah, I have a square hood, but I didn't pay the $80 for the square hood. Instead, I got the Hague version, which you can see right, if it'll focus right there. Yeah, I got the cheap $30 version from Amazon, and to be honest with you, I love it. There's room to put a filter in there. I have no regrets. There's nothing to be, regretful about on this one. I feel like that was a solid decision through and through. I even bought the little Hague front cap, so basically this thing is not even marked on the front, so that basically gives me, and the reason I got this little cap is because the traditional manufacturer one basically would come down to kind of the edge right here, and it wouldn't really go much further. But since I bought the deeper one, the whole square hood disappears, and this becomes a very non-assuming shape. It doesn't give off any kind of, I'm high dollar camera type feel, which is super amazing to me, and kind of the main reason I bought it, because now I can go do street photography and actually enjoy it and feel like I'm not in danger for having my gear stolen off of me, which has happened multiple times, or attempts have happened multiple times when I'm taking the R5 out in public, and it makes it kind of painful to take something that high dollar out, at least that I'm shooting with consistently. Usually I'll still bring it with me in a bag, which is very much well secured, and I'm always packing, so it doesn't really matter. But I feel like this is going to attract a lot less thievery and tomfoolery, words you haven't heard since the 1800s. I do really enjoy all of the tactile buttons and feels on this thing. You can set all of these top buttons and all this, the aperturing and all that. You can set it all to the front and back dials on this camera, which I think is absolutely amazing. You basically get to customize on the fly. I've set this top button to be my eye auto, which yes, this camera does have eye auto. It also has 1080 60p, and obviously all the features underneath it. It does shoot 4K 24. It'll shoot 4K DCI up to 29 frames per second, 30. It's essentially 30. Let's just call it that. But overall, this camera took the creative edge off for me. This camera basically stepped in and said, all right, I don't have to be big, I don't have to be huge. It's kind of like the song that's playing on TikTok, I could be brown, I could be blue, that kind of thing. I don't have to be big, I don't have to be huge. I'm tack sharp, and I don't give a what any of you say about me. This camera pretty much has a I don't give a crap attitude, and I gotta say, I love every bit of it. I'll continue to use this, and you'll continue to see me carry this around until someday I pick up a Leica eventually, and if anybody has one they'd like to sell me for cheap, I'm looking for a film Leica or a digital Leica. I don't really care at this point. But yeah, I already threw a Leica strap on this thing, so I must have a thing for it, right? But yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I have a crap ton of film. I'm gonna say this here, and I know that almost nobody's going to see this video, so it will not matter. I started an Instagram page for my film photography, which doesn't surprise any of you probably at this point. It's called in.the.eyes. of film. I think it's of.film. Basically, in the eyes of film. If you search that, you'll come up with my account. It has my name on it, so you literally can't miss it. If you're wondering what's coming to that, it's this plus about 5 rolls. I've got 3 rolls of Portra 400 coming, and I have a couple rolls in the other room and a roll sitting over there. So I have rolls of film everywhere, plus the Portra 800 that's in the camera. I plan on shooting all this. I've got 3 rolls of black and white, so if you're a huge fan of black and white photography, like I'm starting to become, those are coming. I got T-Max, 2 of Tri-X. So if that means anything to you, you understand what's going on. And then I have some expired Kodak 200, expired Fuji Superior 400, and Portra 160 that is not expired. I got 3 rolls of Portra 800, 3 rolls of Portra 400, and a roll of Portra Ektar 100. Basically, all of that to say is that I have a shite ton of film photos coming eventually when I shoot all of those rolls, which is not gonna happen anytime soon, but you know. Such is life. Kind of a little update, I got rid of the A6000. I know none of that doesn't surprise any of you at all because I hated that camera and preached against it for a very long time. I sold it. It's on KH.com right now. If you want to pick up an original Alex Scarrow piece of gear, there you go. I took decent care of it. It's, you know, in decent enough condition. It's the A6000, the 35mm OSS, and the 55-210. They're all on KH.com. If you want them, go get them. I know that matters to nobody. But yeah, I'm now back down to 4 camera bodies, crap ton of lenses and all that. But yeah, I've officially kind of created my fine art and my professional division, and they can obviously cross each other. I've used the the X100V for portraits. The outcome is fantastic. I took this one of my wife the other day. Bam, there you go. I've taken quite a few different little hits here and there for it, and I gotta say, I've loved it from start to finish. I still have the R, and obviously the R5 is what's filming, and the Pentax Super ME, which someday hopefully will get replaced by a Canon P or a Leica M6. We'll see what happens, see what I can wrangle up. If y'all wanna hire me for something, help me fund my camera addiction, hit me up on my Instagram or email me. But yeah, that's kind of what this is. I got a lot coming in terms of content. I just have to figure out how to say it on YouTube. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for y'all. I'm gonna enjoy my bubbly, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. We're gonna do kind of something a little different. I'm gonna whisper I'm totally kidding. That's a Chris Howe type thing to do. I will kind of talk softer and honestly right to you. As a newer creator on YouTube, the like button down below, I think it's right here, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if everything is like mixed. It might be here. I might be wrong. I think it's here. Please hit that. That's actually very important. Share this if it's helpful. And please, by all means, subscribe if you want to see more content. It actually does help the channel. These videos are not sponsored, so it helps. Every little bit helps. I'm not sponsored by Benchmade, although you wouldn't know it with how much stuff I have of theirs. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.